AA Beyond Belief is a podcast by, for, and about people who have found a secular path to sobriety in Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, Happy New Year. I'd like to start the year off by talking to you about AA Beyond Belief, not just the podcast, but also the website. So I've been doing this now for 5 years, and it's 5 years that have really gone by fast. It's been like a dream. I've never imagined that I would ever have such an experience, and it's really been an incredible ride. I feel honored to have this opportunity, and I would like to thank Roger C. for making it possible in the first place. Of course, I don't do any of the work alone, nor could I. There are a lot of people who make AA Beyond Belief happen. PJ Galen and Robert B. write volumes, and they also edit the work of other people. Working alongside them was Doris A., who for the first few years served as our chief editor and worked tirelessly in finding people to write for the site. And then she would coordinate with Galen and PJ to prepare those stories so that they would be ready for publication. Now, of course, there was also Bob K., who was a steady and is a steady contributor to AA Beyond Belief and has been since the beginning. I don't think we even would have gotten our feet on the ground in the first place if it wasn't for him. He's a really talented writer. He's the author of Key Players in AA History, and he can hammer out one story after another. It's absolutely amazing. In addition to Bob, there's been plenty of other people, dozens of people who've written for AA Beyond Belief over the last 5 years. I'm not going to try to name them because the list is too long and I wouldn't want to leave anybody out, but please know that I'm genuinely appreciative of the work that you put into making AA Beyond Belief possible. Now, I'd also like to thank the listeners of the AA Beyond Belief podcast. I have had a special connection with you that I have truly enjoyed. When you send me an email and you tell me how much the podcast has meant to you and how it has helped you, it has helped me just as much. Every time I talk to somebody on the podcast and hear their stories, that's an AA meeting for me. And their stories are in my mind and in my heart. This podcast has transformed me. This podcast has been the cornerstone of my recovery program, really, honestly. So, and I love doing it. So thank you. Having people that listen to the podcast and care about the podcast makes it that much more meaningful to me. So thank you for making this possible and giving me this opportunity. Now, I'd also like to thank all the people that go to the website and read the stories and make comments on the articles. They make that website a warm and welcoming community. And also thank you to all of the people who finance both the podcast and the website through your contributions, your financial contributions. I don't say thank you near enough, but I'm really grateful for your generosity. So thank you. Now for what is new in 2021 and some speculation about the future. On the what's new front, I would like to announce a new and improved website for the podcast. Go to podcast.aabeyondbelief.org. podcast.aabeyondbelief.org. That website now, it's a lot easier to find podcast episodes by topic, and you won't have to go through a lot of pages to play an episode. Just click on it. As soon as you see an episode, just click on it and you can play it. There's also a page on the website for booking appearances. So if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, check out the scheduling page. And there's just a little form you fill out that talks where you say what you want to talk about, a little bit about yourself, and then you can even schedule the time and date for the podcast, and then you'll be a guest. It's just that easy. So please check that out. So the new site is still in development, and I'm going to be making more improvements and adding stuff to it over time. So keep visiting it over the next few weeks, and you'll see more there. Also, over the coming weeks, the primary site, aabeyondbelief.org, is going to also get an update. I haven't updated that site since we started it in 2015, and it really does need a new look. The WordPress theme that we use is no longer supported, and I know there's a lot of plugins that don't even work anymore, and the site has been really clunky and slow. I've been working on trying to improve that, but I've only had some limited success. I think a new theme and getting rid of the old plugins will help with its load times. Another thing, you might have noticed that if you go to the website, you may have noticed that the audio recordings from past conferences are no longer there. So what happened is I was contacted by the company that recorded the conferences in Austin and Santa Monica. So those would be the 2014 and 2016 conferences. And they actually have the copyright on those. So we can't post those on the website. The other conference material is owned by ICSA, all the stuff from Toronto. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to post that on the ICSA YouTube channel and on the Secular AA website, because that actually belongs to them. Another change that's going to go on this year is I'm going to spend pretty much all of my time, most of my time on the podcast, which is what I enjoy. I'm not going to worry about publishing an article every Sunday on AA Beyond Belief. We'll still publish stories, but only as people contribute them. I just don't have time to go out and try to find people to write. And I don't really have the talent for that. It's not my skill set to edit other people's work and to post other people's work on the website. I would much rather spend my time doing the podcast. Besides, there's other blogs out there that can post stories that people write. AA Agnostica, number one, they're very capable of doing it. And then other people like Steve K, they have fantastic blogs. So there's really no need for another website that just posts written material that other people write. Okay, now for the speculation part. What does the future hold for AA Beyond Belief? Now, I want to separate these two things between the website and the podcast, because I'm not going to let go of the podcast. But the website, yes. When we started this thing, I wanted AA Beyond Belief to be an organization that wasn't identified or dependent on a single person. But I found that running an organization, even a small one like this, is a lot of work, and I'm not particularly good at it. So that being the case, I still feel a responsibility to act as a custodian of what is really yours, and that would be all those stories on the website. I think that AA Beyond Belief should one day really belong to Secular AA ICSA. I know I probably shouldn't say that without talking to them first, but that material on our website is really an archive of sorts. It's an archive of the experience of secular people in AA over the last 5 years. It's our history. So I think Secular AA ICSA would be the best organization to take care of that material. They might not want the responsibility, but I think ultimately that's where it belongs. Now, I don't see myself getting rid of the podcast anytime soon. Maybe someday we'll have to change the name of the podcast, but we're going to continue podcasting about a secular path to sobriety and Alcoholics Anonymous with the occasional, look at other recovery programs. Now, this podcast has been my great love since we started AA Beyond Belief. Like I said, I'm not really good at editing the work of other people. I can't do what Doris did by going out and trying to find articles all the time. So I'd much rather spend my time doing what I enjoy, which is the podcast. So I guess that's all I have to say. Hopefully this was a coherent message. Now, I guess there is one more thing I'd like to say. And that is, I hope that 2021 will be a better year for you and the rest of the world. There's been way too much suffering in 2020, too much death and sickness and loss. It's really incomprehensible what we've experienced. Yet at the same time, those of us in the recovery community have found new ways of connecting and helping those who are reaching out for help. The number of secular AA Zoom meetings that have started is just phenomenal. Now, I don't attend very many of them. I did in the beginning, but not so much now. But I really do enjoy all the special events that go on with Zoom, like the ICSA convention and Higher-Palooza and things like that. The emotional sobriety panel. And then we're starting the Secular AA speaker meeting on Sunday, January the 3rd, and that will be going on every month. And I enjoy stuff like that. Not so much the meetings, but I really do enjoy those special events. And I think it's really cool that we have more of those happening all the time. In fact, even the podcast, the live streams that we do are sort of like special events because of COVID. And, those live streams are going to evolve in new and different ways. It's just amazing. So that aspect of COVID has been good. That aspect of 2021 has been really interesting. But I do hope, 2020, but I do hope that 2021 will bring you and all of those that you love all the health and happiness and peace that you deserve. So you all take care. I'll be back with you soon with another podcast. Actually, we'll be posting one on this coming Wednesday. Y'all take care. Be well. I'll be talking to you again real soon.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot for all and sign? For all and sign, my dear, for all and sign. We take a cup of kindness yet for all and sign. We two